Welcome to Present Poetry, a podcast where we sit back, relax, and enjoy some poets of the past and present. I'm your host, Erin Crittenden, and before we get started on this week's episode, I want to remind you that all of the material used in this podcast is either public domain or used with permission from the author or the author's estate. It's a fun time for all ages, so sit back, relax, and get ready to hear this week's featured poet. This week's featured poet is Victoria Garcia. Victoria Garcia is a creative writer and poet residing in Panama City Beach, Florida. Her poem, Internal Mechanism of the Otherworldly, was published in Libre magazine. Her poetry pursues the wilds of the conscious and subconscious and contends with the surreal, the existential, and the psychological. We are reading a few of those poems that she submitted to us through the forum at presentpoetry.com. This poem is called Either I Am Timeless or Another Lament. Eternity has a thick hide and surrenders a whip. Love so much it manifests the muskrat gnawing the gray stalks of time. Flat-nosed and grim, elbow of frog bending its great obfuscation, while history throws smoke and asks, are you relevant? All the news cares about, but I am grandiose, like gold dust trembling in the sickle of autumn wind, where the pumpkins hurl their heads towards the sacred and turn the imagination saffron. This poem is called Scarecrow. On the first day of surrender, the scarecrow sows a patch of mercy inside his chest, so whatever drags him must mourn. On the second day of surrender, the scarecrow is the ragged thing dragged across the ragged field. On the third day of surrender, the crows show up with mouthfuls of sorrow, are self-conscious, and return to the sky as a rusted belt. On the fourth day of surrender, the crows give up being crows and relinquish the desire to toss up their violations. This poem is called If Love is the Shadow That Listens. I feel the weight of apocalypse. Should the misty gates open, will it be my fault? The pines try on more than headless green, while the haunches of a shadow are involved in another fall. Why is it always terminal sun? Why can't I ever get it right with you? Wait on the edge of a bandaged participle and try to grow the forest under one thigh? The chicken scratch that used to be our hearts throws eggs out of the coop and relents over a simple vow. This poem is called Acts of Impermanence. The sky is unhealthy. Each cloud runs a marathon and is never enough. It is not a yes or no answer, but the scrawling infancy of downpour. Downtown the mint leaves drown in flower boxes, while the sea across from the small shops cannot forbid ravenous gale. What ardor must feel like cuts into me like a melon, and seeks where two hands are hard work, when all there is work, nauseated by sea change, strange faces, strange shapes on the wind. I thought a permanence would take shape. This poem is called Earth Shatter. Not everything leads to answer, but winks at the body of a spider, like an old model of an atom, legs curled in a circuit of perpetual death. The moment that made the mistake does not care about the clump of earth shatter that keeps me agoraphobic, 7 in the morning in Florida, and I am about to be angels dropped in diatomaceous earth. Getting to the weakness in an exoskeleton. What is holy but listening for the stack of ash in clarity where it is clear to me, the closer I am to meaning, the more it dusts itself off as the unspeakable and stolen legs of a roach. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Present Poetry Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, feel free to like us, leave a review, or share us on social media. If you are a poet or you know someone who is, we would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us or submit your work through our website, which is www.present-poetry.com. Again, that is www.present-poetry.com. We can't wait to hear from you.